What would you do if the woman you plan to marry betrayed you with your own best friend? Kunle had the ring, the flowers, the house he bought just for her. But in one single moment, everything he believed in shattered. That night, love humiliated him. Alcohol almost destroyed him. And a complete stranger changed his life forever. This is not just a story about betrayal. It's a story about heartbreak, destiny, intense jealousy, unexpected love, and the woman who found a billionaire sleeping inside his Bentley with the door wide open. Trust me, you don't want to miss how this unfolds. If you love emotional Nigerian romance stories filled with drama, passion, and sweet revenge, make sure you like this story, drop your thoughts in the comments, subscribe, and turn on notifications for the next part. Because this love story, it's only just beginning. Kunle Adebayo believed in grand gestures, not because he needed to impress anyone. At 34, the Lagos tech billionaire didn't need to impress anybody, but because he believed love deserved spectacle, and Sharon deserved the world. Or so he thought. The duplex stood proudly in Lekki Phase 1, tucked inside a gated estate lined with palm trees and silent wealth. Kunle had bought it 6 months ago under Sharon's name. He wanted to propose there. He wanted it to feel symbolic. Our beginning. The living room looked like something from a luxury design magazine. Cream marble floors reflected the chandelier's golden glow. Emerald velvet sofas curved around a glass coffee table imported from Italy. Gold-trimmed wall panels framed abstract Nigerian art pieces. Floor-to-ceiling windows let in the soft Lagos evening light. Kunle stood in the center, holding his phone. He dialed Sharon. "Baby, where are you?" he asked, smiling. "I told you, nah," Sharon replied casually. "Tola's baby shower. I might come back late." Kunle glanced around at the carefully arranged flower packages by his feet. "Okay," he said gently. "Drive safe." He slipped the phone into his pocket and exhaled. Everything was ready. He personally arranged the rose petals. Not because he didn't have staff. He had more domestic workers than most hotels, but because this mattered. He lit the candles one by one. He placed framed photos of them on the console table. Their Dubai trip, her birthday yacht party, the day he gave her the keys to this house. He chuckled softly, remembering how she screamed that day. "Kunle, is this really mine?" He had loved that reaction. He adjusted his black tailored suit in the mirror. Tonight, he was going to kneel. To note, he would change his status from boyfriend to fiancé. He reached into his pocket and touched the ring box. His heart thumped. An hour passed. Sharon didn't call. Kunle checked his phone. No message. He frowned slightly. "Baby showers don't last forever," he muttered. Still, he smiled. He wanted it to be a surprise. He picked up a single red rose and walked toward the master bedroom. The bedroom was Sharon's favorite part of the house. Beige suede wall panels, a king-size upholstered bed with gold trimming, crystal bedside lamps, a walk-in closet bigger than some apartments in Yaba. He pushed the door open gently and froze. The moment everything broke. At first, his brain refused to process it. The dim bedside lamp was on. The silk sheets were tangled. 2 bodies, familiar bodies, Sharon and Femi, his best friend since university. The rose slipped from Kunle's fingers and landed silently on the marble floor. For a second, nobody moved. Then Sharon gasped. "Kunle!" Femi jumped up, scrambling to cover himself. "Guy, I can explain." Kunle's ears rang. Explain? Explain what? That his best friend was on the bed he bought, in the house he bought, with the woman he planned to marry. His laughter came out low and broken. "Ah," he said slowly. "So this is the baby shower." Sharon rushed toward him. "It's not what it looks like." Kunle stepped back immediately, disgust flashing across his face. "Don't touch me." Femi tried again. "Bro, we didn't mean for you to find out like this." Kunle's eyes darkened. "Find out?" The calmness in his voice was more frightening than shouting. "So there's more?" Silence. That silence was the answer. Sharon's eyes filled with tears. "It was a mistake." Kunle raised a hand. "Stop. The authority in his voice silenced the room. "I bought this house for you," he said quietly. "I trusted you with my heart. And you brought him here?" He looked at Femi. "You were my brother." Femi lowered his gaze. Kunle bent, picked up the fallen rose, stared at it for a moment, then crushed it in his fist. "Stay away from me," he said coldly. "Both of you." Sharon sobbed. "Kunle, please." He turned toward the door. "If I ever see either of you near me again, it won't end peacefully." And just like that, he walked out. No shouting, no fight, just shattered dignity echoing in an empty mansion. Outside, the Lagos night air hit his face. His phone buzzed. Sharon calling. He declined. Again, again. Finally, he switched it off. He entered his Bentley. His reflection stared back at him in the rearview mirror. Billionaire, successful, powerful, but betrayed like a fool. He laughed bitterly. "Money can buy house," he muttered, "but it cannot buy loyalty." He started the engine and drove into the night, unaware that this heartbreak was about to lead him somewhere unexpected, somewhere life-changing, and somewhere he never saw coming. Kunle drove without direction. Lekki lights blurred past him. The city that once felt like his playground suddenly felt heavy, mocking. His phone remained switched off. No calls, no explanations, no apologies he wanted to hear. He ended up in Victoria Island, parking outside a high-end lounge he occasionally visited with clients. Tonight, he wasn't a billionaire CEO. He was just a man trying not to feel. The lounge glowed with soft amber lighting and low Afrobeats humming in the background. The bartender recognized him immediately. "Oga Kunle, long time." Kunle forced a half-smile. "Just bring something strong." The bartender poured whiskey. Kunle swallowed it in one go. Another. By the third glass, the noise in his head softened. By the fifth, the images began replaying. Sharon's voice, Femi's face, the bed. He slammed the glass down. The bartender leaned closer. "Oga, you sure say everything day okay?" Kunle let out a dry laugh. "You ever buy house for somebody?" The bartender blinked. "No, sir." "Good. Don't." Even in pain, sarcasm survived. Another glass. Another burn. Hours passed. Around midnight, Kunle stumbled out of the lounge. The night air hit him, but it didn't clear his head. He entered his black Bentley, engine roaring to life. He tried to focus, drive straight, he muttered to himself, but the steering wheel felt heavier than usual. His eyes blinked slower. The alcohol was winning. He managed to pull over near a quiet roadside close to his estate gate. The engine was still running. The driver's door slightly open. Kunle's head tilted back, and he slept. Rejoice had just finished a catering shift at a birthday party nearby. Her heels were in her hands, her caramel skin glowing softly under the streetlights. At 23, life had taught her responsibility early. She lived alone in a small rented apartment and hustled daily. As she walked, she noticed the expensive car. Door open, engine on, driver sleeping. She slowed down. See money sleeping carelessly. She peeped inside. Her eyes widened. "Bentley K? God, if thieves see this now, them go shout thank you Jesus." She hesitated. "Mind your business, Rejoice." But something didn't sit right. The man didn't look like a careless drunk. He looked broken. She stepped closer and tapped him lightly. "Oga, sir?" He stirred slightly. "Sharon, please don't." Rejoice frowned. "Who be Sharon again? She leave you here?" She tapped him again. "Oga, wake up. This place no safe." His eyes opened halfway, unfocused. She noticed how handsome he was. Sharp jawline, expensive watch, pain written clearly on his face. "Where do you live?" she asked firmly. He mumbled something. She leaned closer. "Estate Ikoyi," he slurred, mentioning the name clearly enough for her to catch it. Her eyes widened again. "Of course, Billionaire estate." She exhaled. "God, today na my destiny day." Driving what she never dreamed of. She looked around. No one nearby. Carefully, She helped him shift to the passenger seat. "Sorry, sir. Today I be your driver." She entered the driver's seat nervously. "Bentley again. I never even drive Corolla before." The engine purred smoothly. She adjusted the seat, gripped the wheel, and whispered, "Holy Spirit, take control." Slowly, carefully, she drove toward the estate he mentioned. When the estate gate opened, her mouth fell open. The mansion stood tall, modern, intimidating. Glass panels reflected the night sky. A water fountain sparkled near the entrance. Security guards rushed forward. "Olga Kunle?" one asked, surprised. "Yes, your Olga is drunk," Rejoice replied confidently. "Help me, I beg." They quickly assisted. Inside, the mansion was breathtaking. A floating glass staircase, marble floors polished like mirrors, abstract Nigerian artwork on the walls, a chandelier that looked like falling stars. Rejoice swallowed. So people really live like this? She helped take him upstairs. "Olga, you heavy-o. Billionaire weight different." The security men chuckled softly. They laid him gently on his bed, a massive king-sized bed with deep gray upholstery and gold side lamps. She adjusted his shoes off, pulled the duvet over him. She turned to leave, but suddenly his hand grabbed her wrist. Not aggressively, desperately. "Please," he whispered. "Don't go. I don't want to be alone." She froze. Her heart softened. This wasn't a rich man misbehaving. This was a wounded man begging. She hesitated. "Only sleep, oh, I no be that kind girl." He nodded weakly, eyes closing again. She sat on the edge of the bed first, then eventually lay on top of the duvet, far from them. The room was quiet, except for the sound of a man whose heart had just been shattered. Rejoice stared at the ceiling. She didn't know it yet, but tonight, she had just stepped into a story that would change her life forever. Morning came gently through the tall glass windows of Kunle's Ikoyi mansion. For the first time in years, Kunle did not wake up to emails, meetings, or stock alerts. He woke up to silence, and a stranger sleeping on top of his duvet. He blinked. Then memory hit him like cold water. Sharon, Femi, the bar, the Bentley, and her. The caramel-skinned girl who had driven him home. Rejoice. She was curled carefully at the edge of the bed, as if afraid to take up space. Even in sleep, she looked guarded, one hand resting near her phone like a shield. Kunle sat up slowly, holding his head. "Ah," he muttered, "my enemies did meeting inside my skull." He stood quietly, not wanting to wake her, and walked downstairs. A billionaire in the kitchen. The kitchen was a masterpiece of modern Nigerian design, a large marble island in the center, gold-accented cabinet handles, soft underlighting beneath white shelves, a sleek chandelier hanging above the island. Kunle rolled up his sleeves. Cooking always calmed him. He cracked eggs into a bowl, whisking them slowly. Bacon sizzled in the pan. Pancakes flipped perfectly. He paused for a second, staring at the kitchen wall. Just yesterday, he thought he would be cooking for Sharon as his fiancée. He exhaled deeply. "No," he whispered to himself, "that chapter is closed." The smell of food drifted upstairs. Rejoice stirred. She sat up quickly, eyes widening. "Jesus, I slept inside Billionaire house." She looked around again just to confirm it wasn't a dream. Nope, still luxury. She rushed to fix her hair with her fingers and quietly walked downstairs. She stopped at the kitchen entrance. Kunle stood there in gray sweatpants and a fitted white t-shirt, flipping pancakes like he had nothing else to prove to the world. She cleared her throat. He turned. Their eyes met properly for the first time in daylight. He was even more handsome sober. She quickly looked away. "Good morning, Olga." He smiled faintly. "Please don't call me Olga. It makes me feel 60. She folded her arms. "Okay, uncle?" He laughed for the first time genuinely. "Kunle is fine." She nodded slowly. "Good morning, Kunle." "Good morning, Rejoice. Thank you for last night." She shrugged. "You almost became headline news. Unknown billionaire missing with Bentley. He smirked. You know who I am? She raised an eyebrow. Sir, even my landlord knows who you are. That made him pause. For the first time, he wondered. Did she help him because of who he was? Or because she cared? They sat across from each other at the Marble Island. Pancakes, eggs, fresh juice. Rejoice tasted the pancake. Her eyes widened slightly. You cook like Heartbreak Day permanent. He chuckled. It might be. She tilted her head. Woman matter? He hesitated, then nodded. She cheated. With my best friend. Rejoice froze mid-bite. Inside your house? He gave her a look. She gasped. Inside house you buy? She dropped her fork dramatically. Wickedness full Lagos. Despite himself, Kunle laughed again. Her reactions were honest, unfiltered, real. No fake sympathy, no polished pity, just raw emotion. The conversation that changed everything. Why did you help me? Kunle asked quietly. Rejoice wiped her hands with a napkin. I almost didn't. He raised an eyebrow. But I looked at you, she continued, softer now. And you didn't look like rich man that misbehave. You looked lost. That word hit him. Lost. That was exactly how he felt. She stood up suddenly. Anyway, I should be going. Before your ex-girlfriend come and think I be interior decoration. Kunle's jaw tightened at the mention of Sharon. She won't. Rejoice studied his face carefully. You still love her? The question lingered in the air. He thought about it, then slowly shook his head. No, I love who I thought she was. Rejoice nodded knowingly. That one pain pass. She picked up her small handbag. Kunle stood. Let me at least drop you. She waved her hand immediately. No, sir. If my neighbors see me come down from Bentley, rent go increase. He laughed again. Her humor was dangerous. It was healing him too quickly. As Rejoice stepped toward the door, one of the security guards rushed in. Olga, Madame Sharon des Gate. The atmosphere changed instantly. Rejoice stopped walking. She looked at Kunle. He looked back at her. His jaw hardened. Tell her I'm not available. The guard hesitated. She say she no go leave. Rejoice sighed softly. Film about to start. Kunle glanced at her. You don't have to stay. She crossed her arms. I carry you come house. I fit stay for premiere. Despite the tension, he almost smiled. Outside, Sharon's voice echoed faintly. Kunle, open this gate. Rejoice looked at him sideways. So this not a baby shower? Kunle's eyes darkened. No, he straightened his shoulders. This is the last chapter. And as Sharon's shouting grew louder outside the mansion gates, Rejoice stood beside him, not as a replacement, but as something new, something unexpected, and something far more dangerous to Sharon than she realized. Sharon's voice pierced through the morning calm of the mansion. Kunle, open this gate right now. Rejoice stood beside Kunle in the living room, arms folded. She leaned slightly toward him and whispered, So baby shower Don turned to housewarming? Kunle exhaled slowly. You don't have to be here for this. Rejoice shrugged. I'm not scared of anybody that cheats in imported beds. He almost smiled. Outside, Sharon's heels clicked aggressively against the tiled driveway as security reluctantly let her into the compound. The mansion interior looked even more intimidating in daylight. The floating staircase shimmered behind Kunle. The chandelier sparkled above like a silent witness. The polished marble floor reflected Sharon's furious expression as she stormed in. She stopped when she saw Rejoice. Her eyes scanned her slowly, from her simple fitted dress to her natural caramel glow. This is her? Sharon asked, disbelief dripping from her voice. Rejoice blinked innocently. Good morning, Ma. You dey find somebody? Sharon ignored her and faced Kunle. Kunle, please, let's talk privately. Kunle's voice was calm. Too calm. There's nothing private left between us. Sharon's eyes glistened instantly. It was a mistake, Rejoice muttered under her breath. Mistake way remove clothes. Sharon snapped her head toward her. What did you say? Rejoice smiled sweetly. I say good morning. Kunle coughed lightly, hiding a smirk. Sharon walked closer to Kunle. You can't just replace me like this, after everything? Kunle's jaw tightened. Everything you mean after I bought you a house? After I trusted you with my best friend? Her silence betrayed her. She tried again. Femi meant nothing. Kunle's eyes darkened. He meant enough to betray me. Sharon's gaze shifted back to Rejoice. You think he loves you? He's just angry. Rejoice tilted her head calmly. Madam, if he's just angry, why you sweating? Sharon's face flushed red. You don't belong here. Rejoice looked around dramatically at the chandelier, the staircase, the art. True, even me I shock. Kunle couldn't hold it anymore. He laughed softly. That laugh hurt Sharon more than any insult. Sharon stepped closer, lowering her voice. You always said you wanted a classy woman, Kunle. Not this. The insult hung heavy. Rejoice's eyes flashed, but she stayed composed. Kunle's expression turned icy. Don't. His tone was a warning. She has more class than you ever showed. Sharon stared at him like he had slapped her. You're serious? Yes. The word was firm, final. Sharon's lips trembled. You'll regret this. Kunle shook his head slowly. No, I regret loving you. Silence fell like a heavy curtain. Security gently approached. Madam. Sharon looked at Rejoice one last time. This won't last. Rejoice smiled softly. Neither did you. Sharon gasped in outrage as she was escorted out. The mansion doors closed, and just like that, the noise was gone. Rejoice let out a long breath. My heart beat like I write exam. Kunle turned to her. You didn't have to defend me. She shrugged. You didn't deserve that. He studied her face carefully. No greed, no fear, no performance, just sincerity. Are you always this bold? He asked. She smiled slightly. Only when somebody insult my future. He blinked. Your future? She looked at him teasingly. Relax. I know talk say na you, but if you behave well, we fit negotiate. He laughed. Fully this time. And something shifted again. Not rebound. Not revenge. Something steady. Something real. They moved to the balcony overlooking the quiet Ikoyi street. The morning sun reflected against the glass panels of the mansion. Kunle looked at her. You know, most people see me and see money. She crossed her arms lightly. I see man that almost die inside Bentley. He smiled softly. And you still stayed. She looked at him for a long second. You asked. Their eyes locked. The air changed. No rush, no desperation, just tension building slowly. Downstairs, one of the staff whispered to another, Olga don't smile since morning. The other replied, that new madam get power. Upstairs, Kunle stepped slightly closer. Let me drop you home, he said gently. She raised an eyebrow. And if my landlord increase rent, I'll buy the building. She gasped dramatically. Ah, see how temptations start. He chuckled, but deep inside, something else was growing. For the first time since the betrayal, Kunle didn't feel broken. He felt curious, and curiosity in matters of the heart can be far more dangerous than love, especially when Sharon was not the type to accept defeat quietly, and somewhere in Lagos, Femi had just heard the news. Sharon has been humiliated. Femi has been exposed. And Kunle is starting to feel something he never expected. But in Lagos, love and betrayal never rest. Will Sharon plot her revenge? Will Rejoice stay by Kunle's side when danger and jealousy come knocking? And can a billionaire's heart truly heal after such a betrayal? One thing is certain. Nothing in this mansion will ever be the same again. If you love twists, passion, and Nigerian romance that keeps you on the edge of your seat, make sure you like this story, comment your predictions, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next chapter will leave you gasping. The game of love has just begun, and it's about to get intense.